preview to work, or the preview with skipping to work. I think the most useful thing to do now would be to probably write a ShaderMobject that can interact with shaders directly. Because right now, the way that shader interaction happens is pretty hard to understand. So can I do config? You know what might be a little bit easier? Maybe these two, skip animation preview and no, skip animation preview. This should maybe be part of the config dict. Oh, that is way too bright. I think this should be part of the config dict. Then it would kind of make sense that you're altering configuration rather than altering the scene. But our config dict is complicated enough that I'm not going to try to do that. Instead, I'm going to try to find the background color from the 3 blue and brown version. That's a pretty nice default. Try just using this. That's not bad. I wonder if this is one of the gray colors. Where are our colors? Here. It's one of these 333. Nope. We have all 2s, and it goes straight to all 4s. Okay. Whatever, just wondering about that. Really, I'm procrastinating because writing a ShaderMobject will probably be pretty hard. Oh, and there's still that bug if you press Q. If I press Q, that resets it, and then it breaks my terminal. I guess I can sort of recover it. But maybe I should add a to-do or something for that. To restart the preview window and break the terminal. Okay. I guess you should work on trying to get a ShaderMobject now. Part of the difficulty with writing a ShaderMobject is that the way shaders work in Manim is kind of really janky. I'm gonna copy this. And I haven't worked on it in a long time. But I think it's this P5 shaders branch. And let me just see what the differences from origin master is. Is shader just a blanket term for a program that runs on the GPU? Yes. That is correct. There's a lot of changes here. That is correct. There's a lot of changes here. Ah, man, this probably won't even work. Wait, I think most of the changes I wrote were in the OpenGL renderer, though. The file called OpenGL renderer. Okay, let me go to that. Here. Okay. So I wrote a few different shader classes. Was this in like shader.py? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Ah, man, this will be... Just thinking of having to port all of this makes me shudder a little bit. Quad shader. Oh, this is the one I was working for quadratic Bezier curves. Then curve shader, test shader, line shader. I should be able to get the test shader working. Alright, guess I gotta start. Okay, for one thing, I'm going to write the shader file, Manim render shader.py. And I'm just going to copy this. I was reading from this P5 directory, but I don't want to do that this time. I don't even know the current shaders directory. But at least the test shader, I think we'll be able to just make a triangle. If I'm lucky. I guess this can't even import OpenGL. Oh, that was another file I wrote. Okay, here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to go into the OpenGL renderer and try to just instantiate a shader like I did here. And it won't work at first, but I gotta start somewhere. It's like right here. From shader.py. Render. Oh, this is already in the render directory. So from shader, I'm gonna import test shader. Okay. I have to pass in the context. Like so. And then I can just see if this runs, I guess. So I'm gonna get a shorter test scene. Don't think I'll have to embed here. It does not work because it needs utils OpenGL. Which exists in this repo or on this branch. OpenGL. Just looking at this file brings back bad memories. if I'm being honest. Honestly, I think I can just copy that file. Manim, utils, OpenGL. Yes. Manim, utils, OpenGL. Yes. Okay. This doesn't do a ton, mostly just triangulation. Then it has an orthographic projection matrix. So that's fine. Wait, is this the only thing in the utils directory? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so that makes sense. So I guess I'll just try this again. No module OpenGL. I forgot even how to install this. Hopefully it's just pip install. Nope. Okay. Pi OpenGL? Oh yeah, and accelerate does some other thing. Hope this is the one, the right one. Oh wait, I installed that on the system Python, which I shouldn't have done. Did I? I gotta do this in poetry. Oh, and this one's already here. So then why did that fail? Oh. When I run this, no module named OpenGL. Yeah, same thing. Maybe from here I install these two? I guess that did something. So now if I run it, well, it does some, it doesn't crash, I guess. Although it was looping really weirdly. Oh, because I set the skip animation to true. Is that what that was? Okay. So this is progress. It's now failing to read the shader. Which makes sense. Because I never added them. Shaders, okay. So maybe what I'll do is just make a directory called test, I guess. And that's where I'll put the test shaders, which don't really do anything. If I go here and look at test p5/test.vertex, why do I have a test 2? Oh, I think I know why. And I think I want test 2. That's a vertex. There's the fragment shader. Under Manim renderer shaders P5. And what I want to do here is copy those over. Where is it? Have to go back again. Okay, so there's the vertex shader and the fragment shader. Okay. So under shaders test, that's where I have those. All right, that seems correct. Then we should update this to read under shaders. Well, I guess I don't want to prefix all of them with... I think I want just this. Then in the class for the test shader, I'll initialize it with, oh no, then I can initialize it with just test. Then what it should do is when this gets passed, it'll combine the folder, which is shaders, with test / whatever. Is that right? Oh no, it's because it's not going to look for... It's not going to look one directory down. So what I'll have to do... I'm just going to move the things at test here. Just so they're readable. So now when I run this, and I still doubt that this will work. Okay, it doesn't crash. Wait, why does it keep running? Oh, I must have a bug in the code to make it rerun, which is in the file I just closed, of course. Here. This needs an else break, or else it reruns forever. That's a pretty important thing to have in the commit right now. So let me git stash everything. Add this. Break out of the loop if no rerun is requested. Oh, I didn't even add it. So now it just stops. Although I can't stop it from the terminal. Okay, so now bring those changes back. Now when I run it, it just runs once and ends. Great. Okay, so I didn't see anything up here when I added the shader. I don't even remember how to use the shader. I have to call render on it. So I will have to do a test shader.render. As for what render should do, I don't even remember what the test shader does. Key error invert. It's probably correct. You're gonna have to do. That could get too small. Bring up the shader here and bring up the shader source code. Here and here. Okay, and this does make sense. Because here. Okay, and this does make sense. Because I'm putting in an attribute called invert and nColor. But the attribute is called a position, so... Oh, I know why this was different. This requires a vector 4. And so what I think I need to do is put a 0 and then another 0 on all of these to make these 3-dimensional, plus the extra coordinate for homogeneous coordinates. This would have to be called a position. Oh, there's a good chance something's gonna break in here. There's a very good chance. Because shaders are really hard to debug. Okay. Delete that. Okay, so I'm gonna pass in the a position attribute. It's only these 3. I don't need to pass in a color. And I actually have less confidence that this will work now, because the way in which this vertex array was created, I don't think is compatible with this shader. So I'm going to bring over the shader source that this was originally written for. So this, the test shader, I think this is written for test.vert1, this one. And then this fragment shader. So I'm going to move these over instead. And hopefully that'll just work out of the box. So I'll just delete this. And that. And read them again. Test1.vert, and then test1.frag. Okay, these should work with this code. If I'm lucky. Great, it worked. So if I can pause this. So I passed in 3 coordinates. The origin is at the middle of the screen. So -1, 1 is here. 0, 0 is the origin. Then 1, -1 is here. And the triangle is... Okay, so the first vertex, this vertex, has 0 opacity. This vertex has 1 opacity. And this vertex has 1 in opacity, and they're being interpolated between the 3 of them. It's not affected by camera movement, which makes sense. Okay. Did I crash this? What did I do? But I want a more complicated shader than that. I'm glad I got this working though. If I can get the other test shader, the one with test 2, that would be just swell. Or the line shader. Well. Or the line shader. There's the test one. That was the one I was using for curves. And for quadratic Bezier curves. Okay, getting this to work with Manim coordinates, I have a feeling is going to be super annoying. But, if it didn't make life miserable, then it wouldn't be worth doing. Okay. I'll just call this Manim chords dot whatever. And most of the rendering code, I think most of the rendering code is going to be copied from the quadratic Bezier curve code, actually. So I'll just do this. So I got to write these shaders. What I'm gonna do is just Manim chords dot vert. Here, Manim chords dot frag. Then just read in the test 2 code. Vertex and fragment. And I notice immediately that these don't have a version specified. Guess I should have that version 330. Vertex and fragment on the bottom. Okay. So let me just... I'm gonna run this again to have faith that my code isn't just breaking. And it's not. Yet. Although I should maybe stop doing the embed. It's kind of still doing something buggy. I'll just wait. Actually, just do interact, I think. No, I'll just do wait. For like 2 seconds. Great. Okay. So I'm gonna have to feed it the A position. So let's get the attributes this way. So the data type of the array holding the attributes only needs to hold this one attribute, A position. which will be length 4. And there's only 3 of them. Then I can fill it in like this. And I'll just bring over the same positions from the test example. Oh, and this is supposed to be a 1, not a 0. So hopefully that'll fill in the positions. Is there anything else I need? The material color is a uniform, which I guess I set like this.